average has been through the years, I have about 7 or 8 teams late in the year that I think can reach the Super Bowl. It's not about winning it, it's reaching it. So this morning I did it, and there's only 3 teams that I feel real strongly about that they're going to reach the Super Bowl, potentially. Rams, Green Bay, and New England. Denver, I've got in the bubble, but bumping out of the bubble. I just don't know if I trust them. Can you be a team that's that uneven offensively and get there? Philadelphia is actually in the bubble.
All right, let's zero in on this. He proceeds to launch into a lengthy tangent about Philadelphia, political institutions, and electoral processes. But we're strictly adhering to the world inside the football bubble, specifically concerning the Green Bay Packers. That's our focal point. He later expands his discourse to include the Buffalo Bills and other franchises, yet I feel compelled to dwell on the Packers situation a while longer. The reason is that the Green Bay Packers have experienced one of the most captivating and unpredictable season narratives unfolding right before our eyes this year. The prevailing sentiment heading into the campaign was one of temperate, wait-and-see ambivalence. Following a letdown of a previous season, expectations were muted, with a collective shrug of, "We'll manage, see what happens." Then, of course, the organization executed the high-profile acquisition of a star player, triggering an immediate seismic shift in perception. Public reaction was emphatic. This changes everything. This is monumental. What will Jordan Love achieve now? How will Matt LaFleur's system evolve? What will the new identity be? Overnight, their championship odds undoubtedly improved, and they became a central talking point. The storyline practically wrote itself. The iconic Dallas Cowboys versus the resurgent Green Bay Packers. The Cowboys, perennially a media darling subject to relentless amplification, especially during the off-season when engagement is paramount, provided the perfect foil. The Packers benefited from this heightened attention, fueled by the arrival of their new marquee talent. This perception was explosively validated with a decisive statement victory over the Detroit Lions, the previous season's top-seeded team. Observers were left stunned, asking, "What did we just witness?" A subsequent win against the Washington Commanders, who also contested the NFC Championship, further cemented the burgeoning belief. This team is legitimate. This is a bona fide contender. The chorus grew. They are the premier team in the league, the top-ranked squad. The Packers are definitively back. Praise was lavished on both a dynamic offense and a stifling defense. They were anointed the emergent powerhouse. Then, predictably, the pendulum swung. A couple of uneven, perplexing performances followed, and the narrative inverted just as rapidly. Doubt crept in. They aren't polished enough. Something is amiss. This team is flawed. The hyperbole shifted to criticism. Recently, with a return to the win column, the euphoria has resurfaced. They're back on track. Let's celebrate. This whipsawing of collective opinion is utterly compelling to observe. Presently, within this constructed contender bubble, traditional powers are absent. There's no Kansas City Chiefs, no Baltimore Ravens, no Buffalo Bills. By any objective measure, despite certain commentators' assertions, the Philadelphia Eagles currently reside outside that sphere. The Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears, and San Francisco 49ers, franchises we've discussed as central figures in recent years, are not primary occupants. The Denver Broncos have entered the conversation, though they too represent a newer emergent force, alongside the New England Patriots. This context makes Green Bay's position notable for its continuity and stability. Essentially, only the Packers and the Los Angeles Rams can claim a quarterback and a core group of skill players, receivers, running backs, who have been in place for a meaningful duration. However you define the core, be it on defense, offense, or the coaching staff, this group has accumulated shared experience. They have navigated postseason battles, endured wins and losses, and weathered various trials. This stands in contrast to the ascending Chicago Bears and Seattle Seahawks, or the retooling San Francisco 49ers, who, despite possessing key veterans, have integrated significant new elements and been ravaged by injuries, raising sustainability questions. The Eagles, meanwhile, are embroiled in a palpable coaching predicament. The Broncos, like the Patriots, are also in an upward trajectory phase. Therefore, if we accept this bubble premise as a current truth, the Packers' placement is logical. They are positioned right at the heart of the championship conversation. The fascination for me lies in the extreme volatility of their projected path, from preseason whispers of a potential undefeated run to an immediate loss triggering a "they're not that good" backlash, back to now being central to this exclusive Super Bowl framework. According to this specific analysis, only 3 teams possess a legitimate claim to reaching and winning the Lombardi Trophy, with the Packers and Rams seemingly on a collision course. Personally, as I survey the landscape, I recognize the flaws cited for the teams positioned just outside this bubble: the Bills, Seahawks, and 49ers, each purportedly possessing fatal deficiencies. My current perspective, however, is that every team at this level is grappling with significant issues and vulnerabilities. I am not entirely comfortable drawing such a definitive line between those in versus out. This ambiguity was a central theme of my recent comprehensive rankings. When presented with a list like this, my instinct is to interrogate it. What specifically elevates the Broncos to contender status? What is the Rams' championship argument? What substantiates the Packers' inclusion? You begin to mentally sift through the critical factors. What can a team truly rely upon in a moment of supreme adversity? When facing a 10-point deficit in the fourth quarter of an NFC championship game, what intrinsic quality will forge a path to victory? For the Packers, and to a slightly greater extent the Rams, given the proven championship pedigree of the Sean McVay-Matthew Stafford partnership, the argument hinges on completeness and balance. While Green Bay's offense has shown intermittent inconsistency and is managing injury concerns, I find myself inclined to place substantial trust in their defensive unit. If a critical stop or a game-altering play is needed, I believe they can provide it. Conversely, if a scenario demands Jordan Love to attempt 50 passes to mount a comeback, I have faith in that capacity as well. If the game plan requires a ground-and-pound approach, I trust their ability to execute that too. This points to a distinctive level of resilience within the Packers, albeit a curiously fragile one. A seeming contradiction that manifests in those baffling, low-scoring affairs that leave you questioning, how is this happening? This doesn't compute. This duality is precisely why I've expressed the sentiment that for several teams this season, the spectrum of possible outcomes ranges from a first-round exit to a Super Bowl victory. I largely still hold that view regarding Green Bay. My hope is that the coming weeks will provide greater clarity, as we are now in the season's decisive phase. Teams must either commence playing their optimal football immediately or face the consequences. Any performance at this stage that appears lackluster, regardless of opponent, seeds doubt with the playoffs looming. With several pivotal matchups on the horizon for Green Bay, I am hopeful we will gain a more solidified understanding of their stability ceiling. If they can consistently reach a baseline of stable, high-level execution, their potential, in my view, becomes limitless. The Rams do not notably lack for stability. Maintaining their current standard could be sufficient. The Patriots, in their own context, fit a similar mold. Other teams, however, require ascension. The Eagles, Bills, and Bears must unequivocally elevate their play. The Broncos' offense needs both stabilization and an upward trajectory. As for the Seahawks, their relative newness as a collective makes me hesitant to label them inconsistent or fatally flawed, yet I comprehend the skepticism. In the context of this Super Bowl bubble exercise, I see them occupying a similar space, capable of either winning it all or exiting abruptly. Given an offense that can explode and a defense performing at a high level, this has genuinely been a mesmerizing season. Examine the core of this hypothetical bubble: the Rams, Packers, Patriots, with the Eagles and Broncos on the fringe. It prompts a genuine, what is occurring? The Bills are absent. The Chiefs aren't even in the frame. The Ravens are missing. The injury-plagued 49ers are in the discussion, but the reigning champions are not. The Jacksonville Jaguars, holding a high seed, are omitted. The season has been gloriously chaotic. I am thoroughly invested. Yet, it remains profoundly tricky to decipher. Making logical sense of the current landscape is a formidable challenge. Consider. The Chicago Bears currently hold the NFC's top seed, yet a consensus does not regard them as the conference's best team. Their playoff odds might even be lower than some non-playoff teams. How does one rationalize that? The Broncos and Patriots, led by rookie quarterbacks Bo Nix and Drake May, are contending for a top seed under coaches Sean Payton and a returning veteran leader. The possibility of a Patriots-Broncos AFC Championship game or a Bears-Packers NFC Championship seems surreal. The Packers winning the NFC North? The scenarios are mind-bending. The entire construct is legitimately, wonderfully insane. But those are my reflections. I am genuinely eager to hear yours. What is your assessment of the Green Bay Packers being positioned at the epicenter of this Super Bowl contender bubble, cited as one of only 3 teams with a legitimate championship claim? Share your perspectives in the comments below. I read each and every one. Whether you concur or vehemently disagree, let's engage in discussion, debate, and ultimately, share in the enjoyment of the sport. Please consider subscribing. We are cultivating a fantastic community here, and I would be delighted for you to join. The goal is to build a connected, exciting space for all of us, and I believe we are making significant progress. Also, a thumbs up on the video is immensely appreciated, as it directly supports visibility and helps the channel grow. Thank you sincerely for your time. I'll see you next time.